I'm going to take another stab at tying the Fast of Tammuz and Netanyahu's speech day before yesterday, together, because I don't feel like I fully communicated tying the two together, tying kind of a prophetic, if you will, like a foretelling of what it kind of symbolizes. So the Fast of Tammuz, like I said, it's a breaking of the wall. So the Romans breached the walls of Jerusalem in their effort to subdue the Jewish people and end the tensions, show them who's boss. And so it took them, from the time they breached the walls, it took them 3 weeks to get to the temple and sack the temple, which really kind of was the soul of the nation, and was the way to subdue the people, was to sack and destroy the temple. And what makes it the message is really that it was inevitable. Once they breached the walls, the sacking of the temple was inevitable. So the 3 weeks between the Fast of Tammuz and Tisha B'Av is kind of the act has happened and the inevitable will come. And the kind of the poignancy of this date for Netanyahu's speech, and really kind of where things are, is that we invited him to come. Israel is very controversial in our nation right now. The war with the hostages and the conflict with Hamas, and Hamas is representative of Iran. They're a proxy of Iran. And so, you can fall on different sides of that. And I have said, I believe that we get the context for the events that are happening in our lifetime from history. So history, what happened before, puts everything that is happening in the current, generation. It gives it context. There's thousands of years of things that happened before this, and if you don't look back at the things that happened before, then you don't really have, you can't fully understand what's happening in your generation and why. So that's my feeling on Israel, and further, that all of history is about the playing out of God's plans, and that is the lens through which the current events and the things that happened before, in my worldview, is the plans of God being played out on earth. And so Netanyahu came to the United States and really was greeted with protesters in the rotunda. So the visual, the day of rage declared, Hamas flags being raised over Union Station and other places. And so the visual that most of the world saw, and that he would have seen, was largely a visual of us as a nation siding with his enemies, siding with the people that took the hostages and murdered people, and his enemies, siding with Iran. And as you know, by extension, Hamas being an extension of them. And the poignancy of the date is the inevitability that the Fast of Tammuz commemorates an action that, though it was not catastrophic really until they sacked the temple, the catastrophic event was inevitable from that point. And so that's the poignancy of the date. The last time that Netanyahu came to speak, he spoke on Purim, and both of these speeches were about the existential threat that Iran poses for the region and for Israel specifically. Iran, who denies Israel's history, denies the Holocaust, denies their right to exist, fights them on every front, fights them with Hezbollah and Hamas, so in the north and the south, and desires to push them into the sea, which is basically holocaust of the nation, if you will, a denying of their rights. So that he's talking about the threat that they pose to their people and to their country. And he spoke last time on a date that commemorated a victory of his people as it relates to Iran, the Persians. But this time he spoke on a day that commemorates an inevitable catastrophe. And so after the first speech, they did experience many years of navigating successfully with Iran and the threat that they had posed. And so it just struck me with this date that it is a date that is foreboding of a catastrophe. And so that was kind of the fuller message that I was trying to say from the last chat. Thank you.